In our first video, we talked about how Rey is probably Kylo Ren's sister, and how it was most certainly Ren who hid her on Jakku. In the second video, we discussed how Kylo Ren is responsible for almost none of the truly evil stuff the First Order does in The Force Awakens. So what is this self-proclaimed Darth Vader fanboy really up to? Fortunately, the movie offers us a glimpse into Kylo Ren's mindset. Alone with Darth Vader's melted mask, he worries about Snoke, noticing that Kylo Ren feels a pull to the light. Again. So this has happened before. Ren is obviously correct in suspecting that Snoke doesn't fully trust him. Snoke does not agree to complete Kylo Ren's training until after the murder of Han Solo, which seems to prove Kylo Ren's full transition to the dark side. Kylo Ren asks Vader to show him again the power of the darkness. Has he actually spoken to Vader's Force Ghost before? Has Vader guided him on his path to the dark side? The crucial line, of course, is this. Kylo Ren pledges to finish what Darth Vader started. Here we seem to get an insight into Kylo Ren's true intentions. So what is it that Darth Vader started? There are really only two possibilities. One, Kylo Ren wants to become all-powerful and rule the galaxy. This is something Darth Vader said he intended to do several times in the past, both when speaking with Luke in the original trilogy and when talking to Padme in the prequels. Strictly speaking, this is not something that Darth Vader really started. He only ever talked about it. Up until his death, he served the Emperor. He never came close to ruling anything really. But let's just roll with it for a second. Is there any indication in the movie that Kylo Ren aims for more power and intends to rule the galaxy? Over the course of the whole movie, Kylo Ren is occupied with his family. He tries, or more likely, pretends to track down the map to Luke Skywalker. He searches for and fights with Rey, and he kills his father. He's obviously obsessed with his family. But ruling the galaxy? He does nothing to help the First Order, like at all. His ineffectualness is so stunning that we must conclude Snoke is an incredibly nice and patient boss to work for. Kylo Ren kills Lor San Tekka before getting any information on what he did with the map. Later, when he finds Rey near Maz Kanata's castle, he lets BB-8 go and orders the retreat of the division, knowing full well that the Resistance would be able to find the droid and with him the map. As we discussed in the previous video, Kylo Ren does not seem to approve of the way the Stormtrooper army is formed, and it even seems like he wanted to prevent the use of Starkiller Base. We get no shred of evidence for any intention on Kylo Ren's part to rule the galaxy or become all-powerful or even help the First Order rise to power. So what does he want to finish? Something that Darth Vader actually started, maybe? Like bringing balance to the Force and ending the rule of a Dark Overlord? This may seem far-fetched at first, but bear with me. The one thing that bothered me about The Force Awakens after watching it for the first time was this. I didn't buy Kylo Ren as a guy who wants to be evil for no obvious reason than to emulate his late grandfather. A grandfather who after all turned to the light side at the end of his life. If there was indeed some Force Ghost communication going on between Kylo Ren and Vader, it was surely not to make Kylo Ren turn to the dark side for real. Ren as a temper tantrum throwing wannabe Darth Vader is just not believable. After all, he may not have had the happiest of childhoods, but he didn't grow up as a slave or orphan on a desert planet like some of his family members did. So what's the matter with this guy? Why would he grow up to be such a prick? My theory is this. Darth Vader or Anakin did indeed contact young Ben when he was training with Luke, but Vader didn't show him the path to the dark side so that he would become a murderer and servant to Snoke like Vader was to the Emperor. Vader talked to his grandson because of his own past. It took a Sith Lord to end the Sith. It might take a Knight of Ren to end whatever Snoke is. Vader convinced young Ben to cut all ties with his family and pretend to become a devoted follower of Snoke. He asked him to sacrifice everything for the greater good of the galaxy. Wouldn't that be so much cooler? Kylo Ren's struggle would make so much more sense than a conscious decision to be evil for the sake of being evil. In this view, it also makes much more sense that Kylo Ren is afraid that he will never be as strong as Darth Vader, as Rey finds out. From what we've seen Kylo Ren do in The Force Awakens, he is already stronger than Vader, even before completing his training. He's able to force choke people like Vader did. But did we ever see Darth Vader stop a blaster shot in mid-air? Kylo Ren can get into other people's minds and read their thoughts against their will. This is far more than Vader was able to do. So what's he afraid of? He's afraid that in the critical moment he may fail to fulfill his destiny and destroy Snoke like Vader destroyed the Emperor. He's afraid he will not be strong enough to fight the evil overlord and win this fight like his grandfather did. Let me just say this. I'm sure he will, but I also think that in the end he will have more help from Rey than Vader had from Luke. We can only speculate what role Luke played in all of the events leading to The Force Awakens. Does he know what is going on, but did he not approve? Was he intentionally left in the dark to make sure Ren's true intentions remain secret for as long as it takes to take down Snoke? We will really have to see more of Luke to answer these questions. Han Solo's death scene is one of the main reasons I think Kylo Ren is no real villain, at least not yet. Harrison Ford had wanted Han's storyline to end in Return of the Jedi. He wanted Han to make the ultimate sacrifice for the good of the galaxy. I'm quite sure Han's death was Ford's condition for taking up this role again. But it wouldn't do to just let him die, even if it's a major plot point. I think it will turn out to be meaningful that Han actually held Ren's lightsaber when he got killed. He even assured Kylo Ren that he would do everything to help him. I'd like to think Han knew at this point what was going to happen and that his son had reasons for his actions other than an insatiable lust for power. Han's death was a necessary sacrifice, but it will ultimately turn out to be essential for saving the galaxy. I'd like to think Han knew this and made the sacrifice willingly. Next up, what will happen in Episode 8? Hint, Kylo Ren may actually turn to the dark side. Thanks for listening and discuss with me in the comments.